Where we at right now, cuz? We in Cascade right now, cuz. What Dolph at, cuz? Where he at, cuz? Where he at? Where he at right now? Where he at? 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 See the left?
I like to believe that I have the type of viewers who are smart, think for themselves, don't really follow behind what everybody else wants them to believe, but kind of sets their own narratives and investigate things to see if they're true or false before they start to believe what anybody tells them, don't care who it is. So with that being said, that 1 in 5 persons that I always speak about, that 1 person out of 5 persons having some sort of mental illness, I'm just expecting that the person that's viewing this video is not that 1 in that 5. So catching up to speed, today we're here talking about Young Dolph. This is something that's been prevalent, ongoing for a little bit over a year now, as he was murdered in Memphis, Tennessee, out at Makita's Cookies by gunmen Justin Johnson and Jamarcus Johnson. We have Cornelius Smith, Shondell Burnett, who's still on the run. They booked him and let him go. Obviously, there was some sort of issue. Shelby County, which is in Memphis, didn't want to come and extradite him from Indiana, so they let him go. He's still out on the run, even though they reissued out a warrant for his arrest. And Hernandez Govan. But there's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes of all these people that are being thrown out there. And again, when we go back and we review the clips and the information, the chief, the lieutenant, the sergeants, everybody's saying, listen, this is a high profile case and we're expecting more information to come out in regarding this case. Now, I have some information. And again, like I said, I don't care who it is that's giving you what or telling you anything. I always encourage you to do your own research to find out what you can find out, to see if it's factual, not just lead off of emotion or what you believe to be true because you think that you know someone, but actually investigate if it means that much to you. So with that being said, I do want to say there are a few things that I took into consideration when reviewing this case, when reviewing the I want to say evidence, but what could be potential evidence, correct? Is that CMG factor. Okay, this has been a predominant factor with persons trying to kill Young Dolph and actually take him out of there and being just mysteriously let go. Now, there's a few instances, of course, where Dolph has been in altercations. There's a few instances where he's been shot at. But over the last few years leading up to his actual murder, it just was entirely interesting. For instance, we have the situation in Lowe's that happened in Hollywood out in California where Young Dolph was shot at.
Right now with the latest on this investigation. Crystal.
Hi, Jeff. Highland and Hollywood back open tonight. So is the Lowe's. But now we know who police want to talk to help fill in the blanks.
APD now wants to talk with rapper Yo Gotti following a shooting in front of Lowe's Hotel in Hollywood.
The individual you've mentioned has been possibly identified as being involved in what took place earlier. To what degree, we have no idea at this point.
Young Dolph, in critical condition, shot several times in the body, and police say they have hotel security video they're now looking over.
In the video, an individual produces a gun, a suspect, and he fires toward the individual who was shot.
Detectives looking into the possibility of bad blood between rival rappers. Several months ago in North Carolina, Young Dolph's SUV was shot at 100 times, but he wasn't in it. A person running from an SUV.
I've heard about 9 pops, like, pop, pop, and then there was a series. And then it stopped.
After Young Dolph was shot, he walked to a nearby shoe store for help. The suspect's gold Cadillac Escalade was found at a gas station nearby, and officers detained 2 men for questioning.
And there was a McLeod who was actually with Yo Gotti, who ended up getting apprehended.
I seen him pull off right here. Yeah, pull off right here. Bro, the truck came from right here and pulled up and slammed on brakes. Hey, like a fucking movie, bro.
Yeah, they saw shooting and they're backing up. They put the car in the truck on the first. That's how they start backing. Yeah, they're backing up. I saw them.
No. It's crazy though. Bro, they hop on top of that bitch with a motherfucker with a iron ceiling. Hop on top with it just
Yes. But it's a bulletproof vest. It's a bulletproof. Yeah, bulletproof. Yeah, bulletproof vehicle. Nothing bulletproof. Yeah, truck bulletproof, bro.
With that being said, there was another instance where 100 shots were fired into or at the vehicle. It was bulletproof of Young Dolph. And in that situation, Black youngster was arrested, but then he was also, again, he was let go. So this is just interesting to me that we have, and that happened in North Carolina, but we have different states, right? We've got different states, but yet we've got the PD coming to the same conclusion, and that's that we think that CMG is somehow or involved with these attempts at murder of Young Dolph, right? But each time they're letting them go, which means that they don't have substantial evidence. All right. All that basically means is that if you have the kind of money and you have your own lawyer who knows how to go in and deliberate for you, then you can pretty much get off on anything, or you can kind of negotiate, even if you did commit certain crimes, that you be released to the confinement of your own home. So kind of make it sweet for you, right? And that's just by having that tangible funds to have accessibility to a good lawyer. So with that being said, we see he was booked, he was let go.
For his alleged involvement, authorities revealed that the van used to shoot up Dolph's bulletproof SUV in February was rented by Youngsta, whose associates later turned themselves over to the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office, where they were then charged with 6 counts each of discharging a weapon into occupied property and felony conspiracy. Upon entering the sheriff's office, Youngsta proclaimed his innocence, making this brief statement.
I ain't fired nothing. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. I ain't seen nothing. It obviously somebody already. Somebody snitching.
Was actually owned by a Vyron Johnson and a few other persons. But this Vyron Johnson in his club life was connected to Gotti also. We know that Gotti used to go in the CIA all the time. There's clips from even 10, 13 years ago with him just like consecutively in there. Consecutively because, you know, he's changed clothes. Like he has on different clothes, different set, different jury. So these are different days. And so anyway, this happens, he's let go. That happens, he's let go. He's let go. And then after all of this, even after, you know, implications with Black youngster being involved or, you know, being a suspect in the event or the matter, he gets out of jail and he goes and makes videos. He goes to South Memphis. He goes to make videos about being in South Memphis with a whole bunch of guys, and they're holding up guns. They're like, yeah, I'm a gangbanger. You know, I'm really about that life. I'm this person. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you think of me, but this is the person that I am. This is who I'm portraying. And we stand with Black youngster in wanting to kill Dolph. And if he comes to South Memphis, then you know what? We're going to light him up. So was this the actual contractual agreement between CMG through Black youngster in the streets? We see Black youngster say in interviews, basically said that if anybody gets in between Yo Gotti and his life, then of course he would step in to defend. But then he later goes on to elaborate that the issue that was happening at hand was strictly between he and Dolph. That was a personal issue.
Was that you just riding for Yo Gotti, or is it something more personal between you two?
Nah, one thing I don't do, bro. One thing I don't do. I'm the type of person, I'm a team player. So if God was in a situation and I feel like somebody feels trying to take his life, you damn right I'm gonna ride. But with as far as with Dolph's situation, Big Homie, he ain't have no problem with Dolph. He ain't never told me in his life nothing bad about Dolph. And like never, ever, ever, ever. Like if anything, he like what he doing. You know what I'm saying? So the thing was, it was a personal issue.
So he goes out, he contracts, you know, killers. He does this on video, you know, and then, like I said, there's that 1 in 5 person. So, you know, if you're a real ignorant person, if he's really ignorant, then of course he's contracting people. He's saying, listen, put a hit out him on the streets. If he's a real businessman, then he still knows what he's doing. Like I said, that 1 in 5 person has a mental illness. So if you were to publicize this or broadcast this, then you know that there would be persons who would, of course, come after him wanting to kill him. It's kind of like Trump. And they said that he incited that insurrection in January the 6th just by merely saying certain things. So, you know, you actually tried to kill the man. You actually, you were allegedly involved with trying to murder the man. And whether you capped on that or not, you knew that your actions here in the streets by doing that would put some sort of hit out on him. Okay. So I'm just wondering here with these bits of information, that relationship to Vyron Johnson and Gotti, because like I said, Justin Johnson's been apprehended. We've got Jamarcus Johnson, who's also been apprehended. And I'm just following that last name. Now we have Hernandez Govan. We've got another guy who's a blogger. He's pretty much came on and he was like, listen, guys, we may have had the video of where they set the whole thing up at. And we want to know if they got paid or not. Well, we know in the beginning, Justin Johnson was like, listen, I don't have the funds to get an attorney. And somehow, he has an attorney. Don't know if it's court appointed, but he has one now. Okay, so there was some sort of issue with monetary funds or him getting in connection with the person that he needed to in order to get those funds or secure the bags, which I'll say, perhaps they had fall guys. When you are claiming to be the head of a big gang, and you got people up under you, you orchestrate things. You got your fall guys. Sometimes they know they are, sometimes they don't. You got your right hand man. Everything's pretty much set up in a hierarchy. It's kind of like politics. Of course, it is politics, just in a different scale. So anyway, when you think about it like that and you say, look, he went out into the hoods, he went out into the streets, he kind of contractually on camera, recruited people to go out and kill Young Dolph. Then you say, who put the money behind this? You said, well, was Govan just another person who was supposed to carry out something himself, but he couldn't do it, so we got someone else involved? What actually happened? And then we get into the Mr. Williams, the Christopher Williams, who actually killed Desto, which was Govan's daughter. But if you go back and you read the reports, it actually appears that that bullet was meant, or that gun play or whatever was meant for Govan, or it was between Govan and another suspect. So that's quite interesting there. And then his daughter was hit, and then he goes to make and I'm talking about Govan here, he goes to make a statement that on social media that pretty much insinuates that suppose my lifestyle is the reason why you're in this situation. So if you're following me here, make it make sense. So my question is, back in what was it, North Carolina? I want to say it was North Carolina, South Carolina, one of those Carolinas. It's so many Carolinas. I think it was North Carolina, where CIA is, which is where Gotti also was, which is where Black Youngster was, which is where Dolph actually happened to be, because like I said, they all performed there. But his vehicle, I guess, as he was leaving there, those shots that were intended to kill him, how did that happen? Like, how did that transpire? How did that play off? Reason being, there was a lawsuit. Vyron Johnson was actually suing Young Dolph. You get your hands on that. He was actually suing Young Dolph. All right. So we've got a few things going on here right now that could put him in that situation. And then if we wanted to look at it from the label standpoint, okay, he had done a song with Juicy J. Young Dolph is who I'm talking about. He done a song with Juicy J. He did a song with Megan Thee Stallion. And during this time when he did all of this, he was being sued for $600 from a group that said, listen, you sample my play in regards to Juicy J, but all of you guys profited off of it. We want a percentage. So at this point in time, of course, there were legal fees. Just because something is dropped, that doesn't mean that they didn't have to pay. A case is dropped doesn't mean that they didn't have to pay legal fees. They could have gotten it to discovery once they found out in discovery that, listen, this isn't worth pursuing, or whatever. They could have settled or some agreement. Then of course, it would have just appeared to the public that it was just dropped, when it could have actually been worked out in some sort of way. So we've got them connected and them attached, and then we also have Young Dolph not really being connected to any major label other than through a distribution.
We were out at CIAA. I'm not gonna lie, that's part of the reason why I feel like sometimes we go places, if I don't have to be in the club or out, I just go mind my business, because I feel like sometimes things just be happening like out of your control.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the rap game ain't nothing but the streets. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's in the rap game? Photo supposed to be trap, was supposed to be street. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? In the streets, I ain't never trust nobody.
And even through that distribution, depending on the terms and agreement of his contract, he would owe what's called a kickback. So if he owed what's called a kickback, which means that after so many sales, I get a percent. If you use my platform, then that means that he still would have technically been in debt to Empire label, which could, pose some sort of issue here. when it comes to conspiracy and what a lot of other bloggers are trying to suggest. So I just wanted to paint this theory for you. I'm definitely going to do a whole lot more research on this. I'm not saying that it's factual. Of course, nothing's factual until it's proven.